So during this video, we've been working on long pages, and the reason I wanted to do that was so that I could take my pages and bind them into a sample book. So these are all of the pieces that I've completed during the video. Some of them are waxed, some of them I've left unwaxed so that I can see what the paper looked like before I dipped it. So let's take a look. These books are great to keep in your studio for reference. Sometimes we set a technique aside, we don't do it for a while, and you flip through the book. It's inspirational, it gives you some ideas about what you can do, and it helps you remember the techniques that you learned. The other thing you could do is you can bind blank pages into the book and write down the instructions for the technique. So there we have it. That's my waxing book. Now I've done a simple 3-hole punch pamphlet binding on this. And what I've done is measured in about 1 inch on each side and punched holes straight through and punched a hole in the middle. And I've done a sewing technique and tied it on the inside. You can do this technique so you can tie it on the inside or the outside, but my preference was to have it inside. I'm going to show you how to do it on just plain paper so it'll be easier for you to see. And I am by no means a bookbinder. This is just a really simple technique that anybody can do to bind your sample book together. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have a good crisp fold on all of our pages. When you're working with wax, it's going to take a little bit of effort. You want to fold your page, but you want a crisp fold. So this is a bone folder, but you could use the edge of a spoon, you could use anything that's sharp on the edge. And you want to be sure to fold your pages. And you would do that with each one of your pages. So my pages have been folded. I'm going to put them together, and you take a scrap piece of paper, and in this case I've measured in 1 inch on each side, and then from there I've measured the center, and those are my 3 punch hole markings. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make sure that it's in the crease, so that's right down in my crease. And I'm going to clip it together so that it doesn't slip around. And you want to fold it just a little bit so that you're sure that when your awl goes through it, it goes straight through. You don't want to be off. You want it right in the crease. So we're going to punch through, and be careful not to get your finger in the way, and punch through. So we have our 3 holes, and we're ready to sew. For my sample book, I used waxed linen thread because I've got waxy pages and it's a nicer complement. For this project, I'm using a simple embroidery needle with plain linen thread. You need to make your decision as to where you're going to tie your thread, whether you're going to tie it on the inside or the outside. It needs to be your first decision. In this case, I want to tie it on the inside, so I'm going to start by going through the center hole, and I'm going to hold on to the tail. And you want to leave enough thread so that you can tie it. Then I'm going to come down through the outside hole. I'm going to come up through the center hole again. Down through the outside hole. And then I'm going to wrap it around underneath the thread on the outside. I'm going to cut the thread, pull it tight, and tie a surgeon's knot. which is thread over and under, and it'll self-tighten. Clip it off. That's how we do it. It's really simple, and anybody can put together a sample book. Here's my finished product, a sample book.